Alright, so we're back working on the cart today. We've returned to home base at Talbot Industries. So in the last video you saw we got the frame all prepped and painted and everything, and for the most part it came out pretty good for rattle can. There's a couple spots we got to touch up, but all in good time. So today's should be a pretty fun day. We're going to be installing this here lift kit. One thing I discovered online is apparently there's differences between gas and electric EasyGo TXTs, which is what this is. And for some reason, the gas kits seem to be less of a lift. So this is like supposedly 4 inches. We're gonna see how big we can get it to be, if we can kind of fuck with it a little bit and maybe increase the lift size somehow.
Hey, lift kit's done. It's lifted.
Dude, nice. Yeah, so actually screw that lift kit. We're just gonna run this thing on a fucking jack stand all the time. Mint. So we're gonna crack this bad Larry open and see what's inside. Damn it.
Damn it. Guess I'll have to watch the YouTube video.
Oh yeah. It's got everything unboxed and laid out. This is our drop front axle. These are the extensions or the risers for the drag links from the steering setup. And then the way you lift the back is right now you can see it's spring under. So we're gonna be going spring over, and then we're gonna be adding these blocks, which in total are probably about 2 inches or so. And then we've got our hardware kit and some instructions, and then these guys are the leaf pads for the front leaves that are gonna go on top of the axle now. So we're gonna familiarize ourselves with the instructions and then start taking stuff apart and see how tall we can get this thing. So I'm pretty sure this is advertised as a 4-inch kit, and we're just gonna take a measurement now of the frame height so we can compare when we're done. So right now we're just about 8 inches to the bottom of the frame. So hopefully we can get that up around 12 and 13 when it's back on its own weight with the kit installed. Everyone's got a favorite tool. You know, some people really like the fire wrench. Some other people like a good adjustable. Here at Talbot Industries, we like the snap-on air hammer. So when Kyle said that we'd use a pickle fork to get these old ball joints out, I was thinking like a normal one that like normal people would use where you'd hit it with a hammer. Nah, let her rip, Kyle. There's the old axle, came out pretty good. That's what it looks like with no axle on it. Damn it. Here's a new one. Get her done. So we're getting ready to put this front axle in, and these are the bolts that came out. They're like a 7/16 bolt or something. And the instructions say to reuse them, but I think that's not good. So we just ran out and grabbed some grade 8 flanged 7/16 bolts. So if you're using this kit, plan on buying bolts because it doesn't come with everything you need. So we got the front axle in, and our shocks don't meet the axle. so we're gonna have to get new shocks. As you can see, the way this is designed is there's this lift tab, which is supposed to come up and grab the shocks, so you don't have to change the shocks, but apparently it doesn't work that well. So there's that. Now, at the same point, we did take the old spring plate and add it to just get like another like 1/4 inch of lift or so. That is not the difference maker between the shock reaching here and not, but it's just something we did to get a touch more lift out of it. So now we're going to go ahead and try and reassemble the front end and drop it down so we can start working on the rear. Alright, so these are the risers that attach for the drag links coming off the steering assembly, and they just go on nice and easy with the 2 bolts there and the nylon lock nuts that are supplied in the kit. We are going to need to make some adjustments to these tie rods. So this one fought us coming off, so we haven't really messed with it yet, but Kyle's got the other one off and he's working over there on it, freeing it up, so that in case we do have to do like an alignment or anything like that, we'll be all set to do so. You know your job.
Grease.
Nice dude. So the front half of the lift is probably like, I don't know, 60% done. Everything for the most part that needs to get bolted in is. And so like we were showing before, the shocks are gonna have to be changed out for longer ones. And then the other issue that we're having is the risers for the tie rod ends are not tapered, meaning that the ball joints on the ends of the tie rod can't grab onto anything and therefore you can't tighten them. So we're gonna make new links with Heim joint ends, and we're just gonna bolt it all together that way. And then we're probably gonna have to come up with some steering stops, because what happens is once you turn full lock, you kind of turn like over center, and then it kind of, I don't know, it's just not a good feeling, so I'd like to get rid of that. But now what we're gonna do is flip this thing around and tackle the back end of it. So as you can see, we flipped the cart around and we've got the rear axle unbolted and the shocks unbolted in preparation for putting the axle under the springs, and then we're gonna go ahead and install these blocks, which are about 2 inches, that were supplied with the kit. Right now the cart's obviously not sitting level, it is higher in the rear. I did a quick measurement here. We were at about 8 inches before the lift. Right now we're at about 14. So I think obviously more is better, but I think that'll probably settle down closer to 12 or 13 or so when we're done. But we're just gonna keep plugging away, getting this rear end assembly installed. Welcome to the unfortunate and premature end to the lift kit install video. On this EasyGo rear axle, there's this cast piece here that holds the axle, and it has these tabs. That one's still intact, and the bolts go through there and they grab on whatever else. And that one's broken, 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 and I think, oh, and that one's broken. So, being the problem solvers that we are, we went to Tractor Supply, and we're like, yeah, this will work, but it doesn't. So we gotta find different bolts or do something different so that we can get that axle in there. So thanks for watching part 1. Hopefully in part 2, it's done.